with the new Fantastic Four movie coming out, will we see a new Galactus statue that will top this? Welcome everyone from What's on the Table. This is Prof G and you are watching another episode of Graded, the show where we're not just going to unbox or review a particular statue, collectible, or figure. We are actually going to give it a grade at the end of each video. So for this episode, we are gonna grade the Sideshow Maquette statue Galactus, which was released, over a decade ago. Some statues come and go while some get overshadowed by newer releases, better sculpts, and modern design techniques. But then there are statues that stand the test of time. This Galactus by Sideshow, in my opinion, is one of them. And before anything else, just a quick story. I have been a fan of the character a long time ago when I was still collecting Marvel Legends. I'm not sure if you remember this, but Galactus was actually a build-a-figure from Marvel Legends and was once a rare find in the toy community. I still have it, and fast forward to today, I was able to acquire this bad boy from the aftermarket. Now, since this is a look-back episode of the Sideshow Galactus Maquette statue, and arguably an iconic and timeless piece in the world of statue collecting, for some reason, this OG Galactus statue is still on the top of the list. And here's the thing, the value of this statue actually skyrocketed even more after the release of the 2021-2022 Sideshow Galactus Maquette, that one. And for the people who has the OG one, not a lot of them are thinking of selling this piece. So let's return to the classic, shall we? As you can see right in front of you, I still have this pristine looking box of the OG Sideshow Galactus Maquette, which I was able to acquire during the pandemic for only 35,000 pesos, roughly around $600, way below its original retail price of $800 and definitely way below today's asking price of double or sometimes even triple of its original release price. Opening it up, we have two levels of styro. Styro level number 1 contains the main parts of the Galactus statue. You have the left and right hands, the extra faceplate that you can use to change the expression of Galactus. This one, I think, is the serious face expression. You also have the left and right, I don't know what that's called, but it's part of the head sculpt or headgear of Galactus. And of course, the body of Galactus himself. By the way, just a side note, this statue is still in its original color. So nothing altered or no repainting was done. It's a bit dirty as it was displayed before and just placed in the box as is. So I do apologize if you see some dust and dirt specks on the piece. Styro level number 2, you will see this big, white, simple, and if I may add, dirty base of Galactus. Not a lot of height here, but I don't mind because the stance of Galactus himself in this particular design does not need much of an elevation. And you also have the two heralds of Galactus here, which is Nova and the infamous Silver Surfer. Very simple and very minimal parts, but let's revisit this again, assemble it, and find out why this Galactus statue by Sideshow is still top tier in the year 2025. My collector friends, this is the OG Sideshow Galactus Maquette. It's already year 2025 and this Sideshow Galactus is still looking amazeballs. And be honest with me, you put this beside any other recent Marvel statues, doesn't matter which brand or company, this will still hold up and this will still make anyone do a double look on your display shelves. But why do this unboxing and review now? For the longest time, this was just kept inside a box, but I told myself, it's time. Will this OG Sideshow Galactus statue be finally dethroned? Time will tell, but I am actually excited about the possibility that there might be a new Galactus statue that could top this in the near future. Now going back to the statue, this was first released over a decade ago, and from the moment it hit the market, it set a standard that to this day, many believe has yet to be surpassed. We gotta remember that at that time, this cost around $800. That was actually crazy expensive during that time, but people still got it. We've seen other versions of Galactus in recent years from different companies, custom works, and even newer pieces from Sideshow. This one right here, and actually costs not far from the OG one, which is $850. But ask any longtime collector, and many will say this is still the definitive Galactus statue. Looking at it from afar, you can definitely say that the design really does command presence, and I can understand why a lot of people search for this statue after finding out that the recently released one didn't at all top this OG design. Now, that's not me saying that the recent Galactus release was not good. If the OG didn't exist, I would safely say that the new design could probably be a definitive Galactus piece. But the existence of this one kinda overshadowed the new one, you know what I mean? Which made the stock price of this piece skyrocket and is now considered a rare gem for collectors. But let's revisit and take a closer look. First, the base. We got a very simple and I would say kinda generic base for this Galactus statue, which doesn't really give much of a story other than a metallic and light up base feature for the character to stand on. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm also not saying that the design needed a much more intricate or elevated base design to accompany the piece itself. It's just a base, a normal base where you're gonna see the metallic texture, some dirt on it with a light up feature in the middle, and that's about it. Now, did its simplicity take away the prestige look of the piece? Not really. The design of the character itself, in my opinion, does not need to have too much detail on its base to elevate its actual presence. And with the size and height of the statue, which is approximately 37 inches tall, I don't think you need any more base intricacy that could possibly be considered a noise on the overall design. I will explain more in just a bit. Second, the body. Now before anything else, and since we are talking about the body, I kind of want to separate the topics of the head sculpt, the pose and design, and the actual paint job. Let's start with the paint job first. So if you look at it from afar, the contrast between the different color tones are spot on. If you are basing it on the original Jack Kirby look, where you're gonna see the predominant purples, blues, and reds of the character color combination. In short, it's the design straight out of a comic book. However, if you look at it closely, the shadows on the muscle contours and the details of his actual outfit is not really that polished. Kind of looks raw, and I don't know, it kind of looks like the type of shadow they place is like dirty, black oil wiped on the edges and contours. You know what I mean? You can see some black splatters on the body, and once you see it, and if you look at the other parts of the statue, they are all over. Now, we gotta remember that this design was over a decade ago, and I don't remember the trends back then when it comes to paint job. But for some weird reason, I kinda like the imperfections, or maybe it's an intentional imperfection. Whatever the reason is, I think it kind of works and still suits the character. Moving on to the pose and design, you have Galactus reaching out using his right hand, extended forward, having the commanding presence as if he is set to devour another planet with the help of his heralds. See, this pose right here, no matter how simple you might think it is, actually works for the character. I mean, it's Galactus. You don't need any dynamic pose for it to capture your attention. You have Nova and Silver Surfer included in the set, so you can interchange them, but of course, a lot of us will probably use Silver Surfer pegged there instead. You will also see a bunch of lining details, and I'm not sure if you want to call it texture, but the lines on it does help in the depth and separation of elements for its sculpt and design. Combined with the black paint wash that will leave a mark on those linings, it really does help the color contrast and separation of the character's outfit. And finally, the head sculpt. As shown in the video a while ago, we have two interchangeable face plates. Not head sculpts, but face plates. You have the gritted teeth version, and you have the faceplate with a more serious or stoic look. But for some reason, right now, I actually prefer the serious face version. You know, it's as if he's not trying that hard on whatever he's doing. Accompany that with a light up feature. I mean, granted, it's not as bright as we would have wanted, but still, having it lit up like this actually looks pretty good. Oh, and by the way, the chest lights up too. Wish it would have been brighter, but either with lights on or lights off, this piece still looks pretty badass. With all that being said, and I'm not alone in saying this, if you own this, you will probably hang on to it and think twice before selling it. Yeah, it's true. If you do decide to sell it, you might get a great price for it, but I know a lot of collectors who got this and they said that this piece will never ever leave their collection. And I agree. See, some of the newer pieces add extra elements, more and brighter light up features, and modern sculpting techniques. But this maquette, it doesn't need gimmicks. It's just pure Galactus. Of course, it's gonna be hard not to compare it to the recent release of Galactus, as the OG is taller, 38 inches to be exact, and in my opinion, a better pose and concept. The overall presence of this piece is unmatched. For now, you put this on display and it commands attention. Now the question is, with the new Fantastic Four movie coming out, will we see a new Galactus statue that will top this? As much as I love this Galactus Maquette by Sideshow, I want it actually dethroned. If we get a newer version which is as tall as this one, which by the way is primarily the complaints of the majority of collectors out there about the new one, and an updated design, I'm all for it. I would want to see it. Having said that, for this Sideshow Galactus Maquette, I am going to give it a grade of 8.3. I think it's still up there, and if you want to call it an iconic timeless piece, we actually can. For now, build is actually pretty solid, paint is not bad, the faceplates are pretty good, and it actually aged well. Thanks guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do me a solid and click on the like and subscribe button, or even just give me a shout at the comment section below. If you have a different grade you would want to give this Sideshow Galactus Maquette, please let me know also in the comment section below. Thanks again guys, this is Prof G and you just watched another episode of Graded. See you all on the next one.